HDL LDL एक गुड कोलेस्ट्रॉल है, एक बैड कोलेस्ट्रॉल है. कोलेस्ट्रॉल इज अ फ्रेंड और फो.
आपका भी उल्लू बन गया, मेरा भी बन गया, सारे दुनिया का पड़ गया. क्या उल्लू बना? That there is a thing called bad cholesterol and a thing called good cholesterol. Is it possible in one body that my left arm is good and right arm is bad?
जो लोग statins ले रहे हैं, the people who are taking statins, what they should do?
Once the inflammation is reduced, the job of the statin is over.
आपको कैसे पता चलता है कि inflammation down कर दी मैंने?
Statins in a short period are okay. Muscle flabbiness, diabetes, Alzheimer's, dementia, all those things, you continue it for so long.
Bacon खाना चाहिए?
No. You see, anything processed is out of my way.
Welcome guys, welcome to Miduty Talks. आज हमारे साथ हैं Dr. Alok Chopra. He's a very renowned cardiologist. He has over 40 years of experience with heart and circulatory system problems. And Dr. Alok Chopra वो डॉक्टर्स में से हैं जो कि अब दूसरे डॉक्टर्स को ट्रेन करते हैं कि पुरानी मेडिकल एडवाइजेस से नहीं काम करना है, स्टैटिन्स नहीं देने हैं, स्टैटिन्स कब देने हैं, अपनी रिपोर्ट्स को सही तरीके से कैसे पढ़ना है. बहुत कम डॉक्टर्स इंडिया में ये सब कर रहे हैं एंड ही इज़ अहेड ऑफ द गेम एंड आई एम वेरी प्राउड टू ब्रिंग सच अ रिनाउंड एंड वेल रेड गाय ऑन माई पॉडकास्ट. Welcome, Dr. Chopra. Welcome to the show.
Yes, ma'am.
Cholesterol is a friend or foe?
Friend. And everybody thinks it's a foe. The moment someone uses the word cholesterol, boom, it becomes a swear word. And the moment the cholesterol level comes to 180, give them statin.
Statins.
That's the thing. That's what is cholesterol.
So cholesterol friend hai.
Friend.
Okay. And HDL LDL.
What is that?
एक गुड कोलेस्ट्रॉल है, एक बैड कोलेस्ट्रॉल है.
Now I want to say one point कि आपका भी उल्लू बन गया, मेरा भी बन गया, सारे दुनिया का पड़ गया. क्या उल्लू बना? कि we swallowed this nonsense that there is a thing called bad cholesterol and a thing called good cholesterol. Is it possible in one body that my left arm is good and bad arm is bad?
दोनों अच्छे हैं.
Yes, but what are they? Are they cholesterols? They call it LDL cholesterol.
I think they are the carriers.
Absolutely. They are not cholesterols. They are taxis. Carriers who are carrying a passenger called cholesterol to the place where it wants to go. Because cholesterol is not water soluble, it needs a carrier. Now, the LDL takes the cholesterol to all its 10, 11, 12, 14 jobs. The cholesterol has got 14, 15 jobs. I've actually condensed it to 10, 11, but there are so many jobs that the cholesterol is doing. And if it's doing so many jobs, it has to be good. Now, where does cholesterol come from? I ask my patients, where does cholesterol come from? From the food?
Our body makes cholesterol.
So our body makes, you know how much? 85%. 85% of the cholesterol measured in our body is made by our body. And nobody wants to understand that.
नहीं, अगर आपने बोला कि LDL कोलेस्ट्रॉल भी अच्छा होता है तो एक इंसान का कोलेस्ट्रॉल लेवल हाई है तो आपके हिसाब से उसको स्टैटिन्स नहीं देनी चाहिए?
बिल्कुल भी नहीं, बिकॉज स्टैटिन्स और LDL और उससे कोई मतलब ही नहीं है. सी कोलेस्ट्रॉल, लेट्स से यू आर कमिंग फ्रॉम ओवरसीज, ओके, यू कॉल अ टैक्सी वाले ने आपके बैग में मतलब डिक्की में बैग डाला, आपको घर छोड़ दिया, चला गया. अरे आपको कोई दोस्ती थोड़ा ना बन गई उनसे. दैट मीन्स द कैरियर एंड द पैसेंजर हैज़ नो कनेक्शन. व्हाट द पॉइंट?
ओके, तो मतलब आप ये कह रहे हो कि जो LDL कोलेस्ट्रॉल है वो सिर्फ टैक्सीज हैं और वो टैक्सीज ज़्यादा भी होंगी रेफरेंस रेंज से तो कुछ नहीं प्रॉब्लम.
No, this is one analogy. Of course, LDL has other things to do also, and you can get you see the word bad and good comes from the fact that there are two types of LDL, type A and type B. Type A is the guy who's taking the cholesterol all over very peacefully. When the carrier becomes inflamed, like the taxi driver becomes a rogue, then it becomes a problem. So then the carrier is carrying the passenger. The carrier is inflamed. So let's say you have a plaque. You understand plaque? I think your people will
सबको
understand.
पता है, मतलब आर्टरीज में प्लैक
Plaque
आ गया, ब्लड प्रेशर हाई होने वाला है.
अच्छा, प्लाक जब कैसे बनता है? प्लाक बनता है इन्फ्लेमेशन से.
राइट.
So inflammation in your arteries, and I've got about 10 reasons why this inflammation happens in different parts of the body. So what I want to say is that when a plaque forms, suddenly cholesterol gets the news. So it puts a band-aid over the blood.
Yes.
But you still carry on doing nonsense. Another plaque, cholesterol. Another plaque, another cholesterol. Till such time that the artery gets blocked, you get a heart attack, you die. आपका पोस्टमार्टम हुआ, खोला, देखा कोलेस्ट्रॉल, यही चोर है. हाउ कैन यू जस्ट ऐसी पॉकेट में उसका चोर बना दिया उसको?
नहीं, तो मेरे को थोड़ा डीप जाना पड़ेगा, बिकॉज इट्स अ बिग स्टेटमेंट है ना. सब जो लोग स्टैटिन्स ले रहे हैं वो क्या करें अब? एनीवेज, पहले मुझे बताओ स्टैटिन्स क्या करती
अच्छा, होते
है?
क्या? ओके, नाउ स्टैटिन्स हैव अ रोल टू प्ले. It's not that they're necessarily bad. Please understand that. The role they play is to reduce the inflammation in your arteries. Now, where does inflammation comes from? There are certain number of
मुझे
things.
बता दो 10 की 10 चीज़ें. वेजिटेबल ऑयल.
नहीं, बताता हूँ. So the causes of inflammation are dietary sugars, refined carbs, refined flour, trans fats, margarines. These are the very bad oils. Then omega-6, not 3. 3 is good, omega-6 is not as good. Then allergies, sensitivities, intolerances, problems in the gut microbiome, nutritional deficiencies, any food which is packaged, processed, pesticides, or plastic, or transported from some other place, those ones. Toxins all over the body, I'm not mentioning a lot, but toxins, low-grade inflammations, low-grade infections which are not, recognized, heavy metals, and then lastly is the EMF, the Wi-Fi, the cell phones, your laptops, everything is giving radiation. So these are these 10 instances of inflammation. So any one of these or a multiplicity of these inflame the LDL. Then it becomes LDL2. Then it becomes a bad guy. The LDL becomes bad, not the cholesterol.
ठीक है, तो स्टैटिन्स क्या करती हैं पहले ये समझते हैं, एंड फिर ये समझते हैं कि जो लोग स्टैटिन्स ले रहे हैं, द पीपल हु आर टेकिंग स्टैटिन्स, व्हाट दे शुड डू.
सी, ऐसा होता है कि when the statins are given, as far as I am concerned, to write down what are the numbers of inflammation or which part of the inflammation that people are suffering from. So in the next 3 to 6 weeks, I will change people's lives, change people's foods, etc., and make sure that between 3 to 6 weeks, I have removed the inflammation, plus or minus here. Once the inflammation is reduced, the job of the statin is over.
आपको कैसे पता चलता है कि इन्फ्लेमेशन डाउन कर दी मैंने?
नहीं, इन्फ्लेमेशन के कई और मार्कर्स होते हैं, ये वो फलाना. आई मीन,
बट इट्स अ वेरी क्रिटिकल डिसीजन कि आपने कोई इंसान आपके पास आया, वो स्टैटिन्स में है, आपने कहा कि मैंने इन्फ्लेमेशंस डाउन कर दी और अब स्टैटिन छोड़ दो, तो वो जो एक कोई टेस्ट करते हैं आप?
नहीं, ऐसा नहीं, वो सारे मार्कर्स है ना, CRP, LPA, all those things, LP है, फिर डिपेंडिंग someone has a heart problem, there is some other things like. So they're all the universal markers that you see for any person. So there's nothing specific for this.
Can I tell audience, if they want to get rid of their statins, they'll come to you?
Yes. First of all, I need to sit down and explain to them to remove this nonsense from their head.
उनको पता है, मैं कब से समझा रही हूँ ये सब.
नहीं मानते?
नहीं, बहुत मानते हैं. वेजिटेबल ऑयल खाना छोड़ दिया, मार्जरीन खाना छोड़ दिया, they eat real butter, and अंडे को दोबारा पीली गोली डालनी शुरू कर दी, सिर्फ एग.
अच्छा, this is a very big issue. I am plastered with this. कि eggs खाते हो? नहीं खाते, बिल्कुल नहीं खाना. अच्छा, कोई कहते हैं जी हम खाते हैं, फिर मेरे को पूछते हैं आप कितने खाते हैं? मैं कहा मैं कम से कम 6 एंड समटाइम 9 अंडे खाता हूँ दिन में.
मैं भी इतने खाती हूँ,
है ना, गुड गर्ल. सो फ्लैबरगास्टेड कि ये क्या हो गया, कितने अंडे हो गए. फिर अगले हफ्ते फ़ोन किया कि खा रहे हो, कितने खा रहे हो? 6 अंडे. अच्छा, खाए पूरे? नहीं, 6 वाइट और 1 गोलू.
सब कुछ तो कोलिन उसके अंदर है, मोर बायोअवेलेबल प्रोटीन उसके अंदर है, अच्छा फैट उसके अंदर है. पीली गोली तो मेन है, अकेला वाइट खा रहोगे तो इन्फ्लेमेशंस.
Absolutely right. On its own, white is an inflammatory agent.
It's inflammatory ना. So जो लोग अकेले एग वाइट्स खा रहे हैं उनको इन्फ्लेमेशंस होंगी. Okay.
बिल्कुल.
So let's say लोग माई ड्यूटी या ऐसे चैनल्स को फॉलो कर रहे हैं एंड उन्होंने वेजिटेबल ऑयल निकाल दिया, EMF एक्सपोजर कम कर दिया, बट अभी भी स्टैटिन्स हैं. देन दे विल कम टू यू एंड you will remove statins from
I
their
will
life.
first remove the inflammation, then I will remove the statins, because statins in a short period are okay. So I'm not demonizing them, but when you exceed it, people are taking it for 4 years, 8 years.
क्या नुकसान है?
Muscle breakdown, muscle flabbiness, diabetes, Alzheimer's, dementia, all those things. Can you imagine? Look at the terrible responses if you continue it for so long.
एक बात बताओ, जैसे आपकी कोई एसोसिएशन होती होगी, सारे हार्ट डॉक्टर्स स्टैटिन्स दे रहे हैं और आप वहाँ पे जाके बोलते हो कि स्टैटिन्स हटानी है, तो how do they take you?
You see, these are misguided information driven by all the powers they be. Okay? And this misguided information from these big powers, some of the doctors believe it. And some believe it, but they said, why should we rock the boat? Maybe I'm not going to say what they do, but that's the way there is.
You were also taught in your medical...
Absolutely. In fact, when I understood functional medicine, I called about 2,000 people, okay, in a big place. I bent down, I touched their feet, and I said, I come here to tell you that I'm sorry, we gave you wrong information, you were taught wrong, and today I'm willing to make you best.
Oops. Okay. And, okay, so this was about statins. Now, can you tell us more about elevated level of triglycerides?
Yes. You see, this is the problem, that when you have a high triglyceride level, that becomes a problem, and most of these triglycerides come from high glycemic foods or bad oils and all the same reasons that we talked about. Then what is important is the ratio. This is very important. The ratio between triglycerides and HDL. And this ratio should not be more than 1.5. And most people are running at 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And my ratio is 0.7 and yours is 0.8. Guessing.
Okay.
Which means you're in wonderful range.
Okay, 0.7, 0.8.
So 1.5 से रेशियो बदलना नहीं चाहिए, ज़्यादा नहीं होना चाहिए.
So रेशियो लैब्स रिपोर्ट्स में आती है, हमें खुद निकालनी पड़ती है?
नहीं, रेशियो ये you have to just do a ratio.
ठीक है, रेशियो. So
see, and then
अगर मेरा LDL रिपोर्ट के अंदर रेड आता है, तो मैं क्या करूँ?
Just clean up your life.
No, but I don't have source of inflammation. Like everything, I'm not talking about myself, but let's say somebody who has done everything what we have advised and the LDL levels are still red.
No, you see, I labeled you 7, 8 reasons. Most of the people who will have it will fall into place in one of those. That's the answer.
You said कि हमारी body खुद कोलेस्ट्रॉल बनाती है, and जब हम statins लेते हैं या फिर डाइटरी कोलेस्ट्रॉल कम करते हैं, तब भी बॉडी उतना ही बनाती है?
Yes, you'll be surprised. You see, कोलेस्ट्रॉल का क्या है कि जब तुम कम खाना खाते हो, कोलेस्ट्रॉल बढ़ जाता है. ज़्यादा खाते हो तो अपने आप कम कर देता है. It's a built-in game.
So, what are the dietary sources of cholesterol? सबसे पहले कोलेस्ट्रॉल के functions बताओ.
वो बताते हैं, because now that is the main thing. First is the structural integrity of our blood vessels. See, our cells have got some membranes, and if they don't have a structural integrity, it will become मतलब बिल्कुल फुस-फुस हो जाएगा. They won't be sturdy.
बाहर का membrane.
They won't be sturdy, and the blood pressure is pumping, turbulence हो रही है. How can they withstand it if it is not for cholesterol? That's number one.
ठीक है, मतलब आपके cells के बाहर का layer बचाना है, cell को strong रखना है. You have to have cholesterol.
So that it doesn't bend under the pumping turbulence of the blood pressure.
Got it.
ठीक है. Then is what we call lipid life savers. See, these are cholesterol to lipid hai, so it becomes like a raft, and that raft is carrying all the proteins, all the other essential things, because 25% of the brain is cholesterol, and also
तभी मैंने 6 अंडे खाए हैं पूरे, because आज मुझे 3 पॉडकास्ट करने हैं, because I know how much my brain needs energy.
Even some congenital injuries, congenital autism also is created by this, and the lipid rafts are actually trying to avoid these areas. These rafts are taking them away from the problem. Then is what we call vital brain matter. Now, vital brain matter means that every artery, every vessel in our body is covered by a substance called myelin. You may have heard about it.
Myelin shell.
Myelin shell. उसमें insulation है, protection है, nourishment है. Memory कैसे आती है कि you know synapses. Synapses are where the neurons are taken from place to place. These are called synapses, and that's how it goes all over the place. And memory is very important in the form of synapses. Then we say that it's a necessary product in our body. You see, जितना उसको ज़रूरत है उतना उसको मिल जाता है. तो कम खाओगे तो बढ़ जाएगा, ज़्यादा खाओगे तो कम हो जाएगा, और ना भी खाओ तो for a long time it can still hang on and help you. It's still helping you even when you take it away.
So you mean to say I can do at times low fat diet, my body will make adequate cholesterol.
But don't continue on the low.
I will never do that. I want my brain, I'm not worried so much about कि मेरे को 2% extra fat आ जाएगा, but I'm more worried about अच्छा कोलेस्ट्रॉल खाने से मोटे तो नहीं होंगे, because ऐसा मेरे डैड के साथ होता है सच में. जैसे ही मैं उनका सैचुरेटेड
तो बीच में कुछ गलत मलत हो जाता होगा ना.
वैसे नहीं होता, राइट? आप मैं कितने भी देसी घी के चम्मच खा सकती हूँ.
नहीं, प्रॉपर देसी घी हो चाहे या A2 हो, कहाँ से आया वो जब देखना है.
उससे मोटी नहीं होंगी.
मेरा कोलेस्ट्रॉल लेवल कितना है पता है? दिल में हाथ रखो पहले.
200.
325.
325.
जान निकल जाती लोगों की जब सुनते हैं.
You are kidding me. 325. इसीलिए फेस शाइन.
पुराने जमाने में बहुत साल पहले बिफोर द स्टैटिन 350 was the best cholesterol. So I'm trying to reach there. सिर्फ 325 ही रह गया.
325. Your HDL.
नहीं, cholesterol level.
Your cholesterol, sorry.
Okay, next point is the dangers of low cholesterol. You'll be surprised. Emotional problems, social bad behavior, aggression, suicidal, murderers, all these people, when they're tested, we find that they have low cholesterol.
Oh.
Now, whether it's a perfect relationship, I don't know. But, we have seen that this is very common in people because whenever they're, पकड़े गए तो उनके सारे टेस्ट होते हैं तो देखते हैं कोलेस्ट्रॉल बहुत लो है.
तो कोलेस्ट्रॉल और गट का कोई रिलेशनशिप है?
कोलेस्ट्रॉल हर कोने में कोलेस्ट्रॉल है.
जो लोग लो फैट डाइट करते हैं, लेट्स से कुछ महीनों के लिए किया, उसके क्या कॉन्सिक्वेंसेस हैं? पहला, मेमोरी.
नहीं, वो तो सब हो गई ना बात. तो क्वेश्चन है क्यों करो भाई. कोई कहेगी जी मैं लो फैट डाइट खाना है तो हम कहेंगे जी नहीं खाना है. खत्म हो गई बात. हम नहीं बात करेंगे आपसे अगर तुम
नहीं. बट बहुत सारे लोग 1200 कैलोरी डाइट कर रहे हैं जिसके अंदर सिर्फ प्रोटीन हाई ले रहे हैं, चिकन ब्रेस्ट खा रहे हैं, चिकन लेग छोड़ रहे हैं, चिकन की स्किन निकाल देते हैं.
नहीं, वो तो ठीक हो ना. अब they've grown up like that, so it's very difficult to control and tell them what is right and wrong. But over time, I spend a lot of time explaining it. Over time, they understand.
आप कितनी कैलोरीज खाते हो दिन में?
मैं कैलोरीज जिंदगी भर नहीं गिनता.
आप बहुत पतले हो. मैं
बताऊं क्यों. 3 लोग बैठे हैं, आप सिर्फ मक्खन खा रहे हैं सारा दिन, ये कैंडी खा रहा है, ये कुछ और खा रहा है. सबकी कैलोरीज फर्क है, सबका रिएक्शन फर्क है. व्हाई डू वी काउंट कैलोरीज? वी आर नॉट आवर बॉडी इज नॉट अ कैलोरी कैलकुलेटर.
हाउ मेनी मील्स यू टेक पर डे?
Mostly twice and once in a week, once in 10 days once.
OMAD.
Once OMAD, then every 3 months full, total this thing, only some liquid.
Do you do fasting?
Yes.
Intermittent fasting?
I was the first man in India to do it, by the way.
Really?
So I think. Because when I started this, nobody knew what is intermittent fasting. And today I do not use that word. It's become a stupid fad word. Are you intermitting? Intermittent सारे intermittent करने. Nobody's bothered about your body clock. ये कब सोना है, कब उठना है, उठने के बाद कितनी देर एक्सरसाइज करनी है, सूरज को देखना है. Do you want me to tell you about the body clock?
बताओ डेफिनेटली. क्योंकि मेरी अभी बहुत ज़्यादा इंटरनेट पे ट्रोलिंग हुई. मैंने पता है क्या बोला? शाम को जिम मत जाओ, तेज़ म्यूजिक मत सुनो.
It's right.
It's right.
I'll tell you what. You see, there are 2 things. Our ancestral past and our body clock. If we can honor them, we'll be good without any medicines even. So let's talk about the ancestral past. Now, these guys have a DNA which is 20,000 years old, and that same DNA is within you and me. And in that DNA, there is a very interesting property. that each time they ate, they used to store fat and reduce fat burning. You may ask, why has God given us this property? In those days when food was so scarce, the only way they could survive without eating for days on end was the fact that the fat, as a slow burner, saw them through. And each time they ate, they would store fat. That's how they lived without eating so often. Now this is still here. Now, whoever the powers may be, the misguided science tells us, नहीं जी, आपको तो हर 3 घंटे खाना यही होता है ना आजकल, हर 3 घंटे खाओ. ओके, खा लिए जी, 8 बार ही खा लिया, 3 main meals, more middle meals, 6-7 people 6-7 times खा रहे हैं. Now each time they are eating, they are storing fat. And that is how this word became intermittent fasting. The fasting came because when you fast, certain things are happening in our body to prevent or to create some happiness within your body. So if I eat twice a day, I will not have fat storage and reduce fat burning. 7 times a day you will have. If you have only twice, होना वो भी है. So fat storage फिर भी होगी, but it will be only twice in a day, not 7 times in a day, na?
Exactly.
That is how the concept of fasting and intermittence came.
I completely believe कि intermittent fasting एक fad word है. 14-16 घंटे नहीं खाना. One has to see आपके लिए काम क्या करता है. For example, मेरे लिए ये काम करता है जब मैं सुबह उठती हूँ, maybe मेरे cortisol levels high होते हैं. I have to feed, me being a woman and hormonal, so I want food first thing in the morning, that's what I do. But then I don't eat whole day. I'm good with it. I have a lot of fat in the morning and then I don't eat whole day.
The whole day?
नहीं फिर खाती हूँ. फिर आ गई शाम को 4-5 बज गए. तब is my body is asking. मतलब I'm not an emotional eater कि हाँ आज
You're hungry?
I'm really really hungry. So एक क्वेश्चन है जिसमें मैं हमेशा कंफ्यूज रहती हूँ. जब मैं खाती हूँ एक बार बैठ के, तो मैं रज के खा सकती हूँ कि मुझे 80% खाना है?
Okay, मैं बताता हूँ. So now I'm coming back to the body clock. See, the body clock wakes us up and I do that by around 5 a.m. plus minus. No dilly-dallying in bed. Wake up, Jack in the box, and immediately run down. I say run down because I stay on the first floor. I run into my garden and my swimming pool. So within seconds, I go and expose myself to the blue light of the sun. By the way, the blue light of the sun at this moment is invisible, but there's a blue haze. And this blue light is very crucial for us because that's the time when it converts the night hormones, the night chemicals, the night mechanisms into the morning one. It's a very crucial change. You missed the first bus.
अच्छा, तो पहली चीज sunlight exposure.
Then नहीं, अभी तो blue light है. अब sun आया. When the big sun comes, that's the time where you look and imbibe the sun. Open your chest up, open your shirt up, and enjoy and allow the sun to get into your system. At the same time, a little bit of my own 2 penny bits is to use this time for doing pranayam and prayer. And then immediately after that, you do an aerobic activity. So in sequence, wake up, blue light, yellow light, pranayam, prayer, aerobic activity. Now that aerobic activity can be running, swimming, treadmilling, whatever.
Walk?
Whatever.
Walk.
Any aerobic activity. Then comes the fact that our body clock wants us to have our first meal not later than 5 hours after waking. Not later than. Now you are fitting in that category.
Okay, 5 घंटे के अंदर खा लो.
मैं 5 बजे उठूं तो मैं 10 बजे I have my first meal around 10. So I do a little trick in my appointment book कि 10 o'clock एक Mr. S के खाना होता है. 24 घंटे. अब कोई S के खाना नहीं है. I'm only eating my first meal at that time. So that's my bigger meal. उसके बाद between 10:30-11 to about 12:30 is the best time to make decisions. This is our body clock talking. To make decisions, all the important things that you need to do, that's the time.
10:30 to 12:30.
10:30-11 to 12:30. And you may be doing that at that time, isn't it?
Yeah. Doing meetings and decisions.
Yeah. अच्छा वो हो गया. Then उसके बाद आता है
पहले प्लीज उस क्वेश्चन का आंसर दो. जब मैं खाने बैठती हूँ,
नहीं इसको कंप्लीट कर लो ना बॉडी क्लॉक को. So then what happens is that after that around 2:30, exactly at 2:30 there is a need to have a 30 to 40 minute nap. 5 minute सोने
yes.
को, 5 minute उठने को. And according to our body clock, 5:36 is the best time to do strength training. Aerobic was in the morning. Strength training is best done around 5:36. Now, वो अलग बात है कि भाई ये तो ना कि तुम मर जाओगे अगर नहीं खाओगे उस time. But that's the best time to do strength training. After that, the usual chores, you come home, meet your family, whatever. 7:30 is your dinner time, and the body needs about 2.5 hours to finish off the food, and by 10:30 go to sleep. Now this is for normal human person like that. You may say कि भी मैं सुबह पहला खाया वो खाया, that's also fine. Nothing wrong with that. But it's more easier for most people to do exactly what I am saying. It's easier, it's more practical, etc. etc. How many people can sit and not eat after 4 o'clock,
नहीं मतलब I listen to my
भाई
body.
बाहर भी जाना होता है ना, कोई डिनर भी खाना होता है. अच्छा, now okay, let's talk about dinner. Now if I'm not going out or somebody has called me over, I won't say मैं खा के आऊँगा जी. वो खा के आऊँगे जी.
मैं कह देती हूँ.
नहीं.
तभी नहीं मुझे लोगों ने बुलाना छोड़ दिया. आपने भी छोड़ दिया.
नहीं, मैंने नहीं छोड़ा. मैंने नहीं छोड़ा. I'll tell you why. You have to live in this world, यार. Remember, you have friends हैं, ये हैं, काम है. You can't just say go to hell.
But इंडिया में सब लोग डिनर पे बुलाते ही 9 बजे हैं.
I agree. That's what I'm telling you. They will serve me dinner at 11. Okay? Now, if I say मैं खा के आऊँगा, कहेंगे जी खा के क्या आएंगे? इकट्ठे बैठ के बातें करनी है, खाना खाना है, बाहर में जाओ. नहीं आओ फिर. So, I will come there, I will eat the meal at 11:30 when they serve. Chup karke I'll have it, but of course I will not eat what I'm not supposed to eat. Next day I will do a 24-hour fast to compensate.
Achha.
I find that better. Why? Because I don't want to be a loner. I would like company. I like meet my friends.
अगर मैं 11 बजे रात को खा के ऐसी बॉडी जैसी आपकी है.
आपकी भी ऐसी है, बिल्कुल मेरे जैसी.
नहीं, you're rocking it at 72, 74.
होने वाला हूँ 72 nearly now.
Oh, you're 71. मुझे भी आदत है अपनी एज 1 साल ज़्यादा बताने की, because we
नहीं
feel...
होने वाली है, मैं बता रहा हूँ, छुपा नहीं रहा.
So ठीक है, तो आप 11 बजे now and then डिनर कर लो. बट मैंने भी ये चीज़ फील करी है कि जिस दिन मैं लेट डिनर करती हूँ, जैसे कल रात को we were outside, we had this like 6-7 course. आज I'm all set.
The next one is that in the liver, see, the liver competes with the brain for cholesterol. आपस में लड़ाई है उनकी कि हमको चाहिए. Then bile is made by cholesterol. Bile ना हो तो digestion नहीं हो सकती, कुछ नहीं हो सकता.
ये जो सारे low fat diet जिन्होंने करी है ना, इन्हीं को ही we've seen this correlation. इन्हीं को ही gallstones होते हैं.
You see, the other thing is that where does cholesterol come from? Sunlight.
Sunlight.
And food. नहीं मतलब विटामिन डी बनती है ना उससे.
अच्छा.
तो विटामिन डी में कोलेस्ट्रॉल तो चाहिए. सो देयरफॉर सनलाइट एंड फूड में आते हैं, नो अदर वे. नाउ इफ यू हैव नोटिस्ड इन योर लैब वर्क, दे सेड कि 100 से ज़्यादा हो जाए डी तो टॉक्सिसिटी हो जाती है. नहीं लिखा है भाई, हर दुकान में लिखा है, हर लैब वाले ने.
मम्मी को आज सुबह फोन करके बोला अपना लेवल 120 ले जाओ. मैं चैनल पे,
यू अंडरस्टैंड इट.
हाँ, मैं चैनल पे नहीं किसी को बोलूंगी.
99% of the people in every lab report they've written after 100 toxicity, and I'll tell you where that comes from. It comes from vitamin D2. Nobody knows that. We are talking about vitamin D3.
D3 जो कि हमारे ADK में है.
Absolutely. So now this vitamin, the D2 is a bad one. How is it made? It is made by irradiating mushrooms, and that causes the toxicity. So if you taking D2, that's when you're going to get trouble. So now फिर लोग कहते हैं जी उस सन ने कैंसर कर दिया. बिल्कुल बकवास. And I'll tell you another thing. A lot of my friends and patients who play golf in the morning, they come, they said कि हम तो सारा दिन घूम रहे हैं, हमारा तो D तो बढ़ा ही नहीं. तो मैंने कहा D is best taken, when you're, now note this point, this is a biohack which I discovered, that the best time to take D is when your shadow is less than half your height. Think what I'm saying.
4 बजे के पास.
No. 12 बजे के आसपास, 11:30 से 12:30. अच्छा, अब कोई, mostly people are not. Everybody is saying that despite the sun, Indians are still low on D. The problem is nobody wants to stand in the middle of the sun now. So, and also you have to take most of your clothes off if you really want the D. But for the thing that you must understand the best time to do it, whether it is right or wrong or sun, is best time is when your shadow is half your height. एक और बात बता रहा था कि इसमें ना लोग कहते हैं ना कि वो टॉक्सिसिटी हो जाती है, वो सनस्क्रीन लगा देते हैं, वो होता है ट्रांस फैट से, मार्जरीन से, वो और नाम लग रहा है डी का. अच्छा, अभी नेक्स्ट पॉइंट है द इम्यून फंक्शंस ऑफ. So immune function means that the LDL ना होता तो it will not carry the cholesterol to do all its immune functions, to remove infections, to remove AIDS, to remove colds, illnesses, recovery, things like that. So therefore, this is another very important form of for cholesterol. So the next point of cholesterol is that it has varying levels. See how clever cholesterol is. That in certain times, like certain seasons, winter में ज़्यादा, summer में कम, किसी की सर्जरी हो रही है तो ज़्यादा, किसी का सर्जरी नहीं हो रही तो कम. So it's such a clever thing. It moderates itself depending upon what it is doing. Achha, then it's the most marvelous healing agent. So now, supposing there's an injury, the liver releases cholesterol. Cholesterol sits into the LDL and goes to the place where it's gone. So again, the LDL, the good part of LDL is taking it there. अच्छा, तब क्या होता है कि अगर क्या होता है कि अगर प्रॉब्लम हो गया तो गो टू अ लाइनिंग एंड समथिंग इज बैड, तो उसका नाम रख दिया ब्लैड कोलेस्ट्रॉल. अगर जो गलत है उसका नाम रख दिया गुड कोलेस्ट्रॉल. कितनी अजब की बात है ये कर रहे हैं. ओके, नाउ इमेजिन that there is an ambulance. An ambulance is taking the patient so it is taking the patient from the hospital. Hospital से patient ले जा रहे हैं, वो कह रहे हैं जी बैड कोलेस्ट्रॉल. अगर उल्टा हो गया तो कहते हैं गुड कोलेस्ट्रॉल. Foolish. Now, the powers that be have understood कि LDL is not a bad guy. The good LDL is a good guy. तो उसका फिर नाम पता क्या लगा दिया उन्होंने? गुड बैड कोलेस्ट्रॉल. और दूसरा क्या है? बैड कोलेस्ट्रॉल. अच्छा. Oh God, I mean, it's I get so angry when I see these things. That now they've understood that there is a LDL which can be good. So also there is an LDL when it gets bad. So how can you call the same guy good bad cholesterol? कि सुबह good है, शाम को bad है. So these things must go away. We must understand that cholesterol, without cholesterol, you're gone case in the suitcase.
You're gone case in the suitcase. What are the dietary sources of cholesterol?
See, cholesterol is found in a number of things, but let me tell you the most 5 or 6 major ones. Believe it or not, the highest cholesterol is found in caviar. It's 588 milligrams per kilogram body weight.
The ganda taste hota hai.
Jo, yeah. And then cod liver oil is number 2, 570. Then you have fresh egg yolks, which is about 425. Then we have butter, which is 218. Cold water fish, salmon जो है 175, and lard is about 100. These are your top 5 cholesterol sources, and the rest, of course, in most of the places that we all know normally. This is something which people don't know, that where is cholesterol.
Bacon खाना चाहिए?
नहीं. You see, anything processed is out of my way.
Because of the nitrates.
Whichever. That's a processed food. Processed food is not on. But caviar, now how many people can afford it? That's another matter. But I want to just tell the people that these are the highest forms of cholesterol.
Caviar. So guys, caviar.
Cod liver oil. Unfortunately, apart from butter, most of them is the non-vegetarian.
Egg yolks खा सकते हैं.
हाँ, but वो vegetarians नहीं ना खा सकते. In these 4-5 ones that I mentioned.
अच्छा.
Unfortunately.
Vegetarians क्या खाएंगे? देसी घी.
नहीं, बाकी everything minus this vegetarians can eat. Now, I am also 75-80% vegetarian. I'm not running down vegetarianism. But I do find veganism not a great idea. But vegetarianism is a very good thing. It really makes you good. But at the same time, I mean, I cannot, interfere with people who want to be vegans or vegetarians. But I have seen in my own practice that large number of chronic illnesses happen in vegans. But again, as long as they look after themselves, they can make up for it. That's also important.
मलाई खा लेनी चाहिए. I do that too.
बिल्कुल खा लेनी चाहिए.
Okay, and
but we are saying all of this, but remember, our main aim is where are we getting our products from? See, now let's say I want to talk about fructose, for example. Everybody knows what is fructose. There are 2 types of fructose. One is the fructose which is found in packaged, processed, and all that.
Ek fruits mein.
All that. Now that is terrible. The other is in fruit. Now fruit is a very powerful item. It's got flavonoids and wonderful, all those wonderful things, but it's still fructose. So when I start reversing an illness, I first stop them from eating fruit for a while. Then I slowly introduce...
आप fruits मना कर देते हो?
For a while. Then this low fructose...
No, I am the one who stops fruits too.
Yeah. So then we start the low fructose fruits, the medium fructose, and then the other ones. Other ones, rarely. So don't overdo fruits. Now, the other controversy which everybody is talking about is most people are waking up and taking a bowl of fruit, and at 6 o'clock when they come home, again a bowl of fruit. If you remember that our fathers, our grandfathers, our great-grandfathers gave us fruit right after the meal. Meal khatam hua nahi, to fruit ki table aa gayi. So when we eat the fruit immediately after a meal, you are much better off. Now, people say that you could mix up that. Yes. No, there is a little mix up. But when you eat fruit on an empty stomach, the mix-up is much worse.
Insulin spike.
So choose the better evil.
Yeah, I was interviewed and they like हम हर तरफ सुनते हैं खाने के साथ फ्रूट नहीं खाना चाहिए. मैंने बोला खाने के साथ जब आप फ्रूट खाओगे उसका सिर्फ 1% डिसएडवांटेज है, बट 99% एडवांटेज है कि आपको फ्रूट भी मिल गया, आपको नेचर्स कैंडी भी मिल गई, आपने मिठाई का पीस भी नहीं खाया, आपको इंसुलिन स्पाइक भी नहीं हुआ एंड आपका पेट भी भर गया. अदरवाइज फ्रूट से पेट नहीं भरता, बहुत जल्दी दोबारा.
क्लैप
सही बोला ना? एग्जैक्टली. लोग इस डिटेल्स में नहीं जाते हैं. खाने के साथ फ्रूट नहीं खाना. मैं हमेशा मेरी जो मेरे एग्स जो थे मैं टोस्ट नहीं खाती. So I had egg Benedict this morning and after that I go for सबसे low fructose वाला fruit कौन सा है? वहाँ पे dragon fruit और अमरूद पड़ा हुआ था. So I had dragon fruit and like my Swedish.
Well, the lowest ones are, for example, berries, cherries, not
berries
grapes.
तो रखेंगे ही नहीं.
नहीं, वैसे बता रहा हूँ. Berries, cherries, not grapes. Then you have grapefruit. Then you have guava, apricot, bear, jamun. Bear, jamun, lacot, and apricot. These are your lowest fructose fruits. Watermelon, in spite of the fact that it's so meetha, is also coming into this category because of its water content. The water content is so high that watermelon turns out to be not a bad idea.
अच्छा, मुझे लगा कि टेस्ट करने में जो ज़्यादा मीठा होगा वो हाई फ्रुक्टोज होगा, राइट?
It is, but it is water.
ड्रैगन फ्रूट भी एक कैटेगरी में आना चाहिए, तो मीठा ही नहीं होता.
It's made that way.
Okay, but cherries बहुत मीठी होती है.
नहीं, मैं कह रहा हूँ ना, it's only नहीं, cherries are fine, but grapes are not.
चेरीज खा सकते हैं एक बोल, बिकॉज मेरे पापा को
नहीं बहुत
like
see, remember, overdoing fruits is going to be bad again because it's fructose, and then that is how you get fatty livers. I mean, from the industrial fructose, the fatty liver is pakka, but eating high glycemic foods, of course, and fruits is one of them, you can get better. And the fatty livers, I've seen people who are slim and trim with tummies over here. You've seen so many thin people with big tummies. They're wearing their belts on their bloody knees.
सेम हमारे घर पे ये डिस्कशन होती है. मम्मा मुझे कहते हैं मैं आज फ्रूट खाऊं. मैंने कहा मम्मा, जिस दिन आपने एक अंजीर खा ली है या रेजन्स खा लिए हैं,
बस करो.
हाँ, अब आज फ्रूट नहीं खाना. जिस दिन आपने खजूर नहीं खाई है, तो आपका फ्रुक्टोस 20 ग्राम तक, 20-30 ग्राम तक हो जाए. एक खजूर या 2 खजूर मैक्सिमम, you have done the limit.
See, all these things are very good, but remember one thing: these concentrated things are close to 8 to 10 times more fructose than fruit. However good they are.
Dates की बात कर रहे हो? नहीं खानी चाहिए ना?
No, they're good stuff. That's damn good stuff. But the fact is that if you make that your, prime thing, then it becomes a problem.
Once in a while.
Yeah.
Once in a while. Because हुआ क्या, मैं ना प्रोटीन बार लॉन्च कर रही हूँ एंड बहुत डिलिशियस थी. तो मैम ये डेट स्वीटेंड है. मैंने कहा कितनी डेट्स डाली हैं? 6 डेट्स डाल दी प्रोटीन बार के अंदर. तो मैम इंडस्ट्री पूरे मार्केट में 6 डेट्स चलती है. मैंने कहा एक बार में 6 खजूरें दे रहे हो, सबके फैटी लिवर होंगे. So right.
See, and then last and not the least situation is that we have to protect our, we may be buying the best, we think the best thing, but we don't know what it's covered with. Now let's take a place like England. Every fruit in the world is available there, and they grow. What do they grow? Only strawberries. Which means all the other fruits are coming from such a far distance. They have been pesticides, preserved, this, that. The problem is problem is that they have destroyed the value of wonderful value of fruit.
इसीलिए मैं फ्रूट्स नहीं खाती हूँ क्योंकि दुबई के अंदर
दुबई में
सारे फ्रूट्स मिलते हैं.
Now, do you know कितने दुबई में कितने फ्रूट उगते हैं? गोल अंडा.
Zero. I know Dubai. I'm so not satisfied.
अच्छा, then let's come to the materials, vegetables. Now, I am still retaining that UV box that we got in the COVID times. So whatever is coming, all the produce that comes in, I put all of them into the UV box.
UV box क्या है?
UV box, UV light आती है ना, it cleans up the whole place. COVID के time तो सबको मिला था.
अच्छा. I was not in India.
No, maybe. But नहीं, everywhere. The UV boxes are okay for any place in the world.
अच्छा.
So put them for 10-20 minutes so the UV light cleans up. Then I take them and put them in a large basin of water with some baking soda and wash it, and you can see the mug coming out. बैंगन में से पॉलिश निकल रही है, किसी से कुछ हो रहा है, वो निकल गया, वॉश हो गया. Then I put it through an ozonizer. And then even pressure cooking. All these 4 things I do before I eat.
Pressure cook your vegetables.
Everything. Vegetables first come into the UV box. Then it goes into the this thing, into the washing thing.
Baking
then
soda.
into the ozonizer.
Ozonizer.
And then baking.
This is हम लोग कितना dependent हो गए हैं.
I know what to do. You see, somebody says that you're crazy. Okay, I'm crazy, but I'm trying to work out a situation that I don't want to be sick anymore at a time.
So complicated health
care. It is. I mean, it's not easy. What I'm saying is not very easy to do, but as close to this that you can be is the best thing that you can do.
Okay. One question. Last year in Goa conference, your opening presentation was Vitamin ADK. Vitamin D should be taken in combination with K2, K1 and A. So can you tell us, because okay, now I'm a little bit being mean, but मुझे नहीं पता था आपकी क्या presentation, and I walked into the hall and you are giving guys take D with K and A. So can you please tell?
See, D is your biggest daddy, and we thought that D is only doing bone. That's one of its small jobs. D is involved in every mechanism of our body, every mechanism. So D is your real big daddy. So look after it. Then D has some brothers in arms. So one is vitamin K2, one is magnesium, and one is A. So these work together. They work together. And then it's best for them to work together. So make sure you have enough vitamin D, vitamin K2, magnesium, and A.
Okay. Last question of the podcast. So what are the top 3 suggestions, since you are a heart doc, for the heart? Lifestyle, supplement, exercise, you can say anything. If somebody says, doctor, I want to keep because people die because of heart attacks, I want to keep my heart healthy, give me 5 or 3 tips.
That's the whole thing. There's no specific things for this. Whatever we have talked about, living by the body clock, honoring our ancestral past, eating within X amount of waiting, first meal, bigger meal, last meal, smaller meal, make sure you're taking enough vegetarian food, starting your meals with the fiber. Yeah, that's one point I wanted to make. That when when we start our meal with the fiber, you are actually, creating a lining in the intestine and prevents the absorption of.
तो मतलब सैलेड पहले खा लेंगे.
पहले सैलेड खाओ, पहले ग्रीन पत्ता खाओ, उसके बाद फिर प्रोटीन खाओ, उसके बाद फिर फैट खाओ, फिर आगे चलो. हम
लोग यही करते हैं बचपन से. पहले कुचुम्बर सैलेड खाते हैं, बीच में थोड़ा sauerkraut डालते हैं.
बिल्कुल, apple cider vinegar, sauerkraut, all that stuff. So there's no specific thing. It's only when you have a heart problem, then you have to make sure that you do all this right. Otherwise you don't want to. So there's no specific diet for heart. This is the same thing that we are talking about.
So guys, for your heart health, अपनी body clock को follow करो, and खाने से पहले
ancestral past को follow करो.
ancestral past को follow करो.
ठीक time पे उठो, sun को देखो. के बाद exercise करनी है.
Okay.
फिर उसको nap करना है, binaural beats लगानी है. फिर 5:30-6 बजे स्ट्रेंथ ट्रेनिंग करनी है, 7 बजे खाना खाना है.
7 बजे खाना खाओ, लास्ट मील तब ले लो. सो दिस इज व्हाट ऑल यू कैन डू. एंड statins अगर आप ले रहे हो, There are so many side effects of statins. Go to Dr. Alok. हम लोग इनकी details नीचे डाल देंगे. And
but at the same time, you must understand that the statins are playing a good role in the initial phase. But that doesn't mean that you have to keep on taking it.
Okay, so statins अगर ले रहे हो और wean off होना है, go to Dr. Alok. He'll help you. And yes, so everything you said is very easy to execute.
Yeah.
So yeah, definitely yes. And don't be scared of your cholesterol, because doctor has a level of 325. जब normal doctor आपकी report देखता है शॉक हो जाता होगा, right?
Some people don't believe me.
No, I believe you. Mine's 280. So I believe you. Thank you, doctor. Thank you so much. लोगों से share करने के लिए.
You know, I wanted to tell you that today we are seeing Alzheimer's and dementia starting from the age of 40.
अच्छा.
Which means that these people have been eating so much junk and that they're even getting dementia at an early age, which is very sad. So that is why fill yourself up with good cholesterol.
Good cholesterol and protect your cell health.
Yes.
Thank you so much, doctor.
Welcome.
Guys, Miduty Talks के through मैं world के best doctors that are working to train other doctors, DNA, research scientists, सबको आपके सामने लाना चाहती हूँ. Miduty Talks को सिर्फ आप ही हिट कर सकते हैं इस शो को. इस शो को ज़्यादा से ज़्यादा शेयर कीजिए एंड हमारे चैनल को ज़रूर सब्सक्राइब कीजिए. अगर दिस इज़ अ हिट चैनल, then I'm definitely bringing world's top-notch doctors in front of you to give you right medical advice. अगर आपको लगता है ये एपिसोड किसी को बेनिफिट कर सकता है, I've done my part. Now it's your time to do your part. Please उनको फॉरवर्ड कीजिए और उनको हेल्प कीजिए ताकि उनको फ़ायदा हो.